here. I'm Chris Davis, this is Ryan Boss. I still teach at Murray County Central. I was the head football coach there for about 16 years. They got a new AD in, and of course, what do you hear as a double wing coach? Throw the damn ball. Okay. Him and I didn't get along very well, so now I'm coaching up with Tracy, and we're doing pretty good up there. We went to state. My first year there, we went to state the next 2 years. And what I did is we run a spread up there, but we also use double wing blocking concepts. And it's really helped the program. I arrived at the program, I was a Nebraska guy. Option. I just loved it. And everywhere I went, I was really successful. I coached up at Minot, North Dakota for a while, Bishop Ryan High School up there. We did a pretty good job. This is my first year when I got to Murray County Central. And the first thing I said is we got to find an offense. So we went through it, we looked at different things, and then we went to our basic assumptions were we had to be competitive with other size players, we're going to make them beat us, they probably had more talent than us. And you guys, if you run a double wing or a single wing, that's probably the same thing you guys thought too. Okay, we don't need an offense to realize I'm big on big. One of my best offensive linemen, who ended up going to the Naval Academy, now flying Osprey off of ships, was a 165-pound guard. Okay, probably one of the best players I've ever coached. And then one that doesn't have the quarterback intensive. So I was getting a little worried here because I'm talking to people that have 1,400 kids or 1,300 kids in their school. That's more than half our town. So we get about 45 kids a class. So when that senior quarterback goes down, I play 8th graders. You know, so we can't have the one that relies on so much. And then what we can do as a staff, we know that. And then the series football that we do. Everybody knows about since we implemented it till I ended in 2012, this is what we were doing. We've had 4 seasons where we rushed for over 4,000 yards. Last season I was there, had a 2,000-yard rusher who's now running the sprinter for USD. The counterback, he had, you want to say 1,500, didn't you? Almost 1,500 yards.
Almost enough by now, sorry.
That's right. So we ended up with 4,000 yards and ended up again in the section championship. We just can't seem to punch it through. You know, I've been to state 3 times, but we can't really punch it through. We're in a pretty tough section with Minneota up there and some other guys. So the toss, the way I think of it is a hub is a wheel, and we all know about that. This would be the terminology. This would be the motion one way, and you toss it back to the other guy. I don't know if somebody mentioned it earlier. They had I think you called it something.
Toss opposite.
Toss opposite, yeah. We call it superpower. Coach that I was under when I played, Hall of Fame coach in Wisconsin, he said kids aren't smart. They're either going to learn numbers or going to learn names. So everything we have, we use numbers and we use names so the kids can get it. Basically, it only has 2 blocking schemes for all those plays, every single time. Really kind of nice. And then, of course, this is the 2-ball drill. I know we were talking about it, and they got that out of the book. It's actually a 3-ball drill, and we're a small school. Our coaching staff consists of, when I was there, 2 paid coaches. So we'd set up 30 yards apart, and we'd run this back and forth the same play. So with the right hand, the quarterback would throw the toss. Left hand, he'd do the X toss, and then he'd boot out. Coach would hand him the ball, and he'd hit the fullback in the flat. So you're practicing 3 plays at once. And they're 30 yards apart, facing each other. So that way you get both sets going. Take care of time. Sweep, of course. This is the old sweep stuff. And it's the same thing. 3 blocking streams. Same kind of sweep ball. You can practice 3 plays at the same time. And then we get to the rocket. Now this is a little bit more different. This is what I got. I was bragging about this book here. And people ask me, I don't think I even paid for it. I called up Chuck Clausen, if you know the name. He was a Delaware wing T guy for many years. And he sent this to me. And so we started putting in rocket, and we started putting in jet, and we started putting in fly. And by doing that, we actually moved to a lot of different formations. So I'm going to show the formations. So the plays don't change, but our formations did. So we went with pro right, pro left, trips right, twins. I can go down here.
Yep, you can.
Come on. So we do this. And this is the one that we really like fly with. You get a double crack on that side. And we tell our kids, if it's fly, the guard that pulls, you're flying to the corner. So we have angles, just like you would do interiorly. So we run out all these different formations. This is the second page. This one, I picked this up from Hugh Wyatt back in 2006 at a Chicago clinic. He called it Ram and Lion, and the best play out of it was the counter back. Or you got this guy coming across, you bring this guy, these guys all across, and you slip it back to the other side for a 2-point play. You know, so you overload one side. And we do go out of gun. I don't do the snap. Wyatt taught me this one too. Is I don't know how you guys are snapping it. Are you snapping it with? You get the center's got half the ball and or you do the wing T snap. You guys know what I'm talking about?
We do the traditional where we center twist the ball.
So we teach our kids, so if this is the football, the center's got the back half of the ball, right? And then we snap it. He just flips it over and then the quarterback receives it. All the quarterback has to do is with his hands like this. He gets hit, he's got that half of the ball. We do the same thing with the shotgun snap. And we get it right into the belly right away, okay?
So I played center for Coach, and I've snapped the ball both ways, both twisting the ball between my legs and both sliding it up. And when it comes down to, especially like we said, we have a lot of young kids coming in 8th grade, 9th grade, kids coming in, they gotta learn how to play center. You know, teaching a young kid to take a snap, teaching him to go like this, it's gotta be precise and it's gotta come in. But if you can just have a quarterback hold his hand there and it just snaps from the ball, it really makes sure that quarterback gets that ball quicker and you can get it in the gut and then you can worry about your toss because your hands are already on it correctly.
The other thing about it is by grabbing that back half of the ball, you get another half a ball distance from your grabbers because you're back off the ball already. So it gives you a little more distance with it. Yeah, go back. So we're here running the rocket, and this is what we run off of it. I know some people, fix that thing. Some people don't like running the wedge, they run a dive. I love the wedge. Ryan will tell you, he just mentioned it today, that the worst thing he hated about my linemen is they had to wedge 110 yards against nobody. We had coaches stationed or people stationed holding their hand like this, and they had to be underneath that all 110 yards. They stood up, they started again. We have a wedge play that I got on tape, I don't have it with me, where we're playing fold up, we run a wedge, and I'll run the wedge anywhere, especially if I'm mad. And our running back fell down 10 yards downfield. The wedge went 40 yards downfield. They never blew the whistle. My running back got up and was walking behind the play about 10 yards. And when the wedge finally broke up, they blew the whistle, and they had to place the ball there, even though he had another 20 yards, because the refs never saw it. So we really work on the wedge. Rocket pass, that's with the boot, you'll see that, X-Toss, you can run all these. We also run a G keep, G scheme, so it would be the front side guard pulling. We run a G keep, so the quarterback fakes it, and then the back becomes a lead blocker for him. And we got that on tape to show you. And I said this is what we run out of it. Okay, these are the different types of, when we run that rocket, we go here, and we full block here, and then it's the ball drill we can run with that one. You want to bring up the tape on the rocket? So that would be this one, this two. Now, when you run it out of a base, stop. Let the formation stop. So right here, you can see we widen him out as a wide receiver. So to us, if we wanted to bring the other tight end out and bring him out there, that would be our pro right. The reason we did this, watch the angle he gets. And there's that guard I told you that's flying for the military now. Now this one here and this one, that's against the team that finished second in the state that year.
Is there a landmark where you're hoping or coaching your kid where you want him to be when he catches the pitch?
Yes, so, for example, let's say we run it like this. We tell him it's a full speed, 7 yards deep, right behind the tackle when he gets it. And he'll be deep, he'll be 7 yards deep there. And what that gives a chance to is for this guy to block down, this guy to lead around. And that time the guard got hung up. That happens to be a pretty good back, by the way. I'll run that one back. The story behind this one is we started running it in 2006 with this back. And we run it with the other back too, but he was a pretty special back. And he came off to the sideline, and Camby was just flying to the outside to stop that. And Tony came up to me and says, "Coach, you're waiting for him." I said, "Well, put your foot in the ground and go straight." And this is what happened the very next play. Made me feel like a genius. There was nothing more than the kid. And this is our other back doing it. Now this kid run, people talk about getting outside, you need speed, run that one back again. Stormer was one of the best blocking wingbacks I had. I could have played him at tackle. He ran maybe a 5.3, if we're lucky. Is that Stormer, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, run that back. So this kid that's getting outside is slow as molasses. Does that make sense? Okay?
This one.
Yeah. We're gonna put the little cover thing in here.
You want to go to the desk though?
Oh, yeah. Now this one is a different age group. This is 2009. We got to the section title game again. And this back has got a little bit of speed. And that's from a tight. And you just set them up nice. And the thing about the tight, when you run it from the tight, he's got to take on your back's got to take on that corner because you don't have anybody out for it. And that's the G key, run that one back. I forgot that one was in there. So we run the front side G scheme, and then we just follow the back. And they didn't even have a decent fake. So, okay. The fly. What I like about the fly so much is what you can do with it. We can run fly and fake the fly and run speed option out the backside. Like I said, I'm an option guy. I love option. And we can run the speed option out the backside. You can run the fly sweep. We also run the dive, and we run a dive pass. So out of this one, we can also run with one tight end and run our left series, let's say, and we want to do 20 dive pass. We show the motion with it all the way across, right? Fake this. It's this tight end that's just running a pop pass. Okay. With the dive, with the fly and the fly dive, we don't block one of the linebackers. We see a lot of four fronts. We saw, well, if you run a double wing, you're like me, you saw 4 fronts, 5 fronts, 6 fronts, 8 fronts, 11 in the box, all the time. But on the fly sweep, or on the fly dive, we leave one backer we're counting on the fly. If he set it up well. If we don't set it up, he's sitting there, there's going to be a collision. Okay? And that's what we run out of it. The waggle pass, fake the fly, fake the dive, waggles out, backside just does a V route or a whip route. Same blocking scheme that we had for the Same exact thing that we did for the Rocket, we do for the Fly, we also do for the Jet. So for our linemen, there's 6 blocking schemes in this whole offense for us. We do have some calls. Okay, with the Jet, we do the sweep, we do the waggle pass, we do the dive pass out of it. Okay, go with Josh's. This kid, this is out of our spread offense that I'm with right now, but this is the concepts I brought up to it. Now this kid is a pretty good kid. Don't play that. This kid's a pretty good kid. He just signed last year with Gustavus Adolphus up there in, I can't remember, what town is that in?
Something the city somewhere.
Yeah, and he started as a true freshman, was their second leading receiver. So he's a really good receiver, but we didn't have a running back up there. We don't have, we're a basketball school at Tracy. We're tall, lean, and, I don't know, athletic, but we're a basketball school. I mean, our receivers, Spencer is 6'5", Josh is 6'2", Riley's 6'3", and Derek Larson is 6'5". You know, when you go into a small school and you got those receivers, what are they going to do? They're going to just toss it up. I don't know how many times he said, throw it up to Spencer. You know, what's the play? Throw it up to Spencer. But we had no rushing game. So we got to state that first year, we went over to Rochester and played Bethlehem Academy. And if you've ever been to Rochester's field, the community college there, it's open, totally open. They got one side of metal bleachers, and it's not enclosed underneath, so the wind hits it, goes right underneath and comes out. We had steel garbage barrels getting rolled across the field while we're playing. That's how much wind we had. And then our quarterback rolled his ankle in the second play. So for a throwing team that's quarterback intensive in the spread where quarterback's got to be the stud, we basically were done after play 2 because we didn't have a running game. So this is what we ended up putting in based on these concepts. Play one play and then stop. Stop. Okay, as you can see, with the twins we had out here, here's Spencer cracking here, he's cracking here, here's our guard going out the corner. Yep. And by the way, this is the first game back after they fired me from this place. That's what we were playing. I'll bring that one back. That one, because I didn't have the tape, I called Coach Anderson. I said I had trouble with my recorder and stuff. I got all of them on the mini DVD tapes, you know. People don't do that anymore. And I tried to get Brian had it up at SDSU and do it. This would be our fly. Or not our fly, this would be our jet. So we're going to lead block here. He's going to go to the corner. He's going to go here. This guard's going to run the rail and seal. Yeah, go ahead. Run that back one more time. And just watch the fullback just totally riff. 34 there was the captain of the soccer team we talked to come out for football. And that's the same play. That's a jet. Now freeze that. Go back. This is the fly now. This is where we're under center. And the only difference in the blocking scheme is we're under center. Now the fullback's not supposed to lead, so he confused fly with jet. Go ahead. And that's Dawson Boyd. They got a couple state titles. There's fly. This is against Minneapolis North in the state quarters. I was talking to somebody here. Yeah, I was talking to you about numbers. State of Minnesota has decided, because I don't know why. I can't give you a reason why. I think it's stupid. But because we have free and reduced lunch, they had some study in the cities that said, okay, those kids don't play. They don't play a lot of sports. So we're not gonna count them as a whole person. Minneapolis North, the school almost closed because they were down to like 400 students. We got 550 students. They get to play in Class 8 because they have 99% free and reduced lunch. So they get to play in a class that has 200 students or less. Okay. This kid right here, that's Tyler Johnson. He actually was the third receiver for the University of Minnesota this year as a true freshman. I've seen athletes before, not like this. When we played them, I remember sitting on the sideline and standing by the side judge. He's their quarterback. They had 337 yards in the game. He had 303 of them. And the guy on the sideline told me when I was telling you this, he said, Coach, and the defensive guy looked at me, well, got anything for me? I said, no, you can't tackle what you can't catch, number one. And then he said, every organized play they ran, we stuffed. It's when he started doing that scrambling thing that we couldn't catch him. So this is against a very fast and athletic team. Way faster than us. Okay, from the junior year. Sorry I had to take it off this highlight film, because I couldn't get to anything else.
Ready?
Yep. Computer ready. Okay. And this is Josh's junior year. And I can't show you the dive because Hayden never made a highlight film. Now that's Jet. Now this is before they changed the rule that it's a legal block to crack somebody, but it's now an unsportsmanlike penalty. Did they do that in Iowa too? God, I hate that.
They did.
Like
They will.
too physical, too hard?
Yeah, it's an unsportsmanlike for hitting them too hard. So we teach our kids when we're doing that double crack concept is they yell out the guy's number. Yell out the guy's number. So if he's looking, you can blast him. We're turning football into something I don't recognize anymore. I'll run that one back. Just to point out some of the action with it. Not back further. Yeah, just a little bit. Stop. He should be going this way. This is that backside speed option that we run off of it. But Swenny wants to see how good Josh is. Keep going. Yeah. You can see the tailback coming out this way, Swenny coming out this way. So they can fake that jet and come out with a speed option. Okay. And once again, it's the same type of blocking. So those three series have all the same blocking. So our linemen only have to learn three things. It's a mirrored offense, so you got to go front and back. And take that one off. We're going to draw now. One of the things that I really like that we've changed up is, so let's say we go with now you look at that, and to us that would be the tight twins. We decided as a staff a long time ago that we weren't going to change our base plays, we're going to change our formation, so they have to prepare for it. Okay, we run the same plays out of all these different formations. So in this case, the tight twins, and we saw a lot of fives or fours. So we can get a crack here, he'd take the end, he'd block down, he'd get to the corner, and this would be a fly. Now, if we ran the same dive out of it, this is the guy we don't block. We'd end up full blocking here, right? He would block him here, he wouldn't pull, and we do seal to the crossroads there. It's the same play, same concept, but it's out of a different formation. You can run the same thing. Now, it doesn't look like double wing, but to me it still is. You know, you got a tri-trip zone, you got a bunch right, okay? He comes in motion. Now, if you had the defense set up on it, okay? The way we teach it is, he's got number 3, number 2, he's got number 1. And if you wanted to run the fly out of that, you can, but now you're running the dive at the quarterback. Yes?
When you're under center, coach, how far back is your fullback?
Right now, I'm not the head coach, so I really can't keep moving them up closer, but I am. I'll walk up behind, well, with Hayden's case, he was a soccer player, he didn't know anything about football. So I'd walk up and kind of nudge him, oh yeah, get a little closer. So by the end of the season, he was about 2.5 yards, maybe.
He's trying a little deeper
than a double
than
wing.
a traditional double wing.
Yeah, he's
Than
not a butt
butt
sniffer. Yeah, but that's what, and that was because the head coach he hated the double wing. I beat him our last game that we played him when I was coaching MCC. We won in double overtime, 52-46, because he couldn't stop it. And his description of my offense, or the double wing offense, wedge right, wedge left, wedge in the middle. All you did is bring a whole bunch of people and hit people. Okay, if that's what you think it is, that's fine with me. But, and I was lucky enough that they let me on the staff and stuff and do things. But you can do this out of just about any type of formation that we have. And so we got multiple formations because this, and we still ran probably, I don't know, my last year there, probably 50% of the time out of this, out of base. Okay. And it was easy to run everything. Like I said, when I was talking to some guys earlier, I raised enough money to start 5th and 6th grade tackle football. We're the first one in the area that did it. Now we got a whole league. And our kids in 5th grade were running this. So by the time they they just had the base one, and they'd have 1 or 2 formations I'd give them that they could try. But then as they moved up, by the time they got to 9th grade, they knew all the concepts. They knew the blocking calls. Like, for example, if we had, I don't know, anybody run this for at least 5 years? How many different fronts have you seen?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you've seen everything from a 6, a 5, an offset, all this other stuff. And that's what we tried to do, is get these guys out of what they wanted to do. And probably put him in there. Okay? Our conference is primary running conference. We don't see a lot of, Tracy's probably the team that throws the most. We probably are a 60-40 run pass. Everybody else, you go to Lacaparo Valley, it's 98-1. And the other one is they're getting a water break and running the split back here. Okay? But in this type of situation, former center, what do you do with a TNT throw?
Mono. Man on, man away. You take your nose, you push them out.
No, on a TNT
Oh,
throw.
TNT, I'm taking a tackle, they're crossing over.
So what are you doing?
Take,
What's the call?
Which one?
Yeah, it's
All
on,
down.
I'm putting you on the domino. So in this case, we can still run it with a domino call on that TNT front. Backers walk up. We can always run every play. I don't care. I heard the 3-3 guy coming up, you know, guys stepping up and coming back and all that stuff. We just call domino and everybody just blocks it down. And you can still pull. So if I was running this, right, he'd cut off here. First one, he would kick. he would go up, and you can run that regular base toss right out of it. We also, with the end, he had a choice. The tight end had a choice. We had a 6 or 9 call. Okay? Most of the time it was 6. So we're going to get a push like that. If he called 9, 9 in German means no. So that means he could take it himself. Okay? When I saw, I know we had a discussion in the other room, and I got to say this because I got to give Joe Barron credit for it. Had a guy that helped me out, started working with the line. So out of the base, when you have your traditional 4-4, I don't have to put the safety in there, do I? Because he doesn't really matter. It's a safety. Okay. So when we had this, people call it, you know, we're gonna 4 eyes back to here, or combo black back to here. If you came to my practice, you'd hear cheeks. You'd hear our line going cheeks to 4. And what cheeks meant is he was standing behind 2 of my linemen, and I walked up and he says, "Listen, I want to see 4 cheeks and 3 cracks." Because he didn't want to see he wanted to see the hips together. So he'd go here, right? We loop him here. He blocks back. They're going to combo block back to him. Comes up, goes up, kick out here, run the same thing. You know, and these are concepts they learned in 5th grade. I actually got in trouble because my son was playing in flag football in 2nd grade, and I had this flag football team pulling and kicking and trap blocking. Yeah.
So, like right now I'm an assistant coach for South Dakota State University, and we've got one of them on the left. So basically, you know, if you see all these formations that coach has shown, he's put up here. At SDSU, they have countless different offensive line schemes, different ways to block. But if you look at this, it's all simple. It's 6 basic blocking schemes. The more simple you can make it for your offensive line, the better. You got, like I said, 6 base things. All you need to know. As a center, it's mama. Man on, man away. As a guard, did he call domino? Did he not? It's simple. It's easy. And the simpler you can make it for your line, the more effective it's going to be. If you start complicating things up, you're going to get started driven back, and once you start driven back, you can't get that sweep through, you can't get that dive up. So just keep it simple and go with just the base stuff.
With this would be our pro right formation. Okay, wing back goes out, he becomes a split end. Okay, sorry I'm old, I don't call them wide receivers, they're either flankers or split ends. So if we're going to run against this, they're going to reduce down. Okay? And let's say we want to run toss. We bring him in motion, and he goes to backer, because that's what he gets with toss. We want to run sweep. We bring him in motion, he gets the end. So these guys get really nervous when we do that. Okay? You want to put that highlight film in there, take out the Playmaker Pro. So we use this a lot. This is the first one I went to out of the base, because it also frees up a passing game. You know, if we're running sweep this way, he's coming in motion, boom, turn. Here, we run him here, right? He's dragging, and he's got the deep, and you got the big 10 route right underneath it. So you put that free safety that was never important before. Now he's got to make a choice. The play action passing out of this is just, I mean, we, like the one slide said, we average 2,800 yards rushing, but we average 800 yards passing too. And the more the quarterback is a good quarterback. I had a quarterback that went to the Dome, Chris Detterman, he's a chiropractor now, real good guy. He couldn't throw a lick. He threw the ball, it looked like he was punted and it went off the side of his foot. But he could run. He was a good cornerback, best one I've ever coached. And he could ball handle and he was smart. But I don't know how many times you just threw him on a naked boot and he could make the play. This is the 2006? 2005. Okay, this quarterback you're going to see, and you're going to see a lot of the plays. This quarterback you're going to see is named Tom Sparks. One of the nicest guys I've ever been able to coach. His football IQ, we were talking about football IQ, he just was anything to do with sports. He was very good with the IQ. He's starting shortstop for us for 3 years. This guy ran probably a 6-second flat 40. Absolutely no talent. I mean, he made Rudy from Notre Dame look like a Division I athlete. And you'll see it on film. But you'll also see a kid that knew the offense backwards, forwards, and sideways and didn't make the mistake. Let's start up. Okay. And you'll see some passes that look like punts that he completes. And he can't throw, and he can't run, we can't boot him, but he was just one real smart individual. And that's one thing I like about, where did we go? Why wouldn't it go on the drive? Maybe we can't get it to go. But he was so smart at the offense, it was like having another coach on the field. So I've always said, with this offense, you don't need an athlete at quarterback. You need a leader, and you need somebody that's got smarts. There'll be one play in here. Where's my don't you have a movie player or something on that thing?
Try it.
Okay.
It's not working with the switch.
So we went with a spread, which is just both wideouts out, and you'll see them, you know, a lot of quarterbacks, you guys have coached as long as I have, you guys know it, that there's some quarterbacks you let audible and there's some quarterbacks you don't ever let audible. This is a kid that could audible. And you'll see it in a spread offense, he checked the 4 verts because they had all 3 linebackers coming and they manned up on the outside. Before even the snap of the ball, he knew where he was going to go with the ball because our athlete was better than their athlete. Now he throws a 40-yard touchdown that looks like a punt. You can't pull it back farther. Okay. That's the over eye. Has anybody run any of the double wing on eye? Yeah, the over eye. I mean, it was fun learning about over eye because over eye was the first 4 games nobody shifted. They didn't realize it was an unbalanced. Okay. We also run the reverse off the over eye when we come in motion. That's that little kid right there. That's the one that's flying jets. Oh, that's my Samoan fullback that transferred in. He didn't play fullback after this year. He was a sophomore because he got up to 300 pounds. He was 240 there. Freeze it. Okay. The kid that just ran the ball, you guys might know about him. His name is Kyle Manette. I think he's the 2nd all-time leading scorer at SDSU, or leading rusher at SDSU. Played for RTR.
Can we go back to it?
No, this is him right here. They were ranked number 1 that year. That was our first game. We beat them 14-13. That's an over eye. Then we get a call on that flag. That wasn't, his head was in front. Should get cut out of this defense. There's some offense. Now there's that crisscross. We call it crisscross. I don't know what everybody else calls it. Reverse. You know, the inside handoff, I know when I talk to you that we don't toss it because it's just, the ball gets fumbled too much.
We actually changed that this year,
Yeah.
where we quarterback hands off instead of tosses. So it looks more like sweep than it does
Yeah.
like that.
Do you do the, what did Wyatt call it? Basically, the first handoff, they just set the table, and then they shove it to the next one. They don't wrap around.
We've talked about that, but I think we use regular handoffs, don't we, right?
Yeah, we do.
We've talked about that.
We did have to pretty much run it one way because one kid could make the exchange, the other kid come back the other way for some reason could not make the exchange.
Okay.
So
Run it back where you can. You see a crisscross come and stop it. Just a second punt return? Yeah. This is the biggest no-no when you have an all-state player and you start yelling at him. Lets it bounce, picks it up with a guy a foot in front of him, waiting for a mistake. Then how do you yell at him when he does this for a return? You still do it. Throwing off his back foot, I mean, this quarterback, I love the kid to death, but he had absolutely not an ounce of talent. Sorry it has all this defensive stuff in it, but I couldn't break it down because I didn't have the equipment. See this cross now. Did you guys do the Superman block with your tight end?
Superman block
That's where they have to cut off if they're in a 5 front, they have to cut off the tackle.
from the backside.
Yeah. No, on the front side. Or on the back side, I'm sorry.
What does that look like?
So you'd have,
Like a bear crawl?
well, we don't call it a bear crawl. So you got your tackle here and your end here, and you're pulling here and pulling here.
Yeah.
We have them, basically, we call it a Superman block. And nobody likes it, and they're in the no-clip zone. So when they come out of their stance, they are diving across the far, they want their elbow across the far knee of their guy.
We bear crawl through kind of on all fours.
I tried bear crawling, and our kids, because it hurts the blocker too,
Yeah.
our kids just started crawling really slow and didn't get there. So we call it the Superman block, and we practice it on a, about 6-inch pads you practice front blocks on, so they practice that on there.
One's going up there, coach. Going up there. Let's see, maybe 2 plays from up there.
Big crisscross?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to do kids will go back and just goes back to like game testing.
That's an override. You saw that one, right?
Yeah, no, it's going to be.
Oh, you went back to it? There you go, freeze. No, didn't freeze. Okay, with the crisscross, I'll draw it up. And we've done this, and my kids were laughing their butt off about it. We were playing Westbrook in a section semifinal game, and they were ranked #1. But that crisscross that I call it, you guys call it something different?
Reverse.
Reverse, okay? That by doing the handoff, right? So he's gonna reverse out, he's coming here, he's doing this, getting the ball, he's gonna come back, and we got the exchange here. We actually tell our quarterback to boot out and get in pitch relationship. So we run a crisscross option. So against Westbrook, Derek Winnicky was running the ball, and he got to run, it would be this back. He ran 67 yards and pitched it to our quarterback for the last 3. And he was all pissed off, pardon the language, because who gets the whole yards? The guy that crosses the goal line. But I told the kids that the only person who can call that is me. And then, of course, when we beat them in the paper, you guys just thought up that play at the regular? No, we run that every day in practice. If you got 2 kids that you can trust, that's a really good play. As long as he stays all the way down the field, he's coming back, he's got to stay in that pitch relationship. So that's one of them that we've done. You gonna keep going with this? I don't know. You guys want more tape or not? It's too much? Okay, it's up to you. Let you out of here early.
You got probably 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll check on the other room. Both rooms started a little early.
You guys got any questions for me?
I want to see your blocking schemes again. I mean, you can send me the PowerPoint. I just
Okay.
want to see like how you block. You know, you had those
Yeah.
drawings in your PowerPoint with schemes, and then you had the drills off of that.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Just
if
go to
you
the
can.
ones with the blocking schemes. I can draw
And
it.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to send you an email, and
Then,
if you can send that to me, I'd really.
I think we got them on the, we got that whole PowerPoint on a flash drive if somebody wants to grab it. Go to 22, we'll go up. The PowerPoint that we had before also had, you know, we had our toss blocking, we had our regular sweep blocking and cut blocking. Yeah. This would be right here, rocket, jet, and fly sweep block. All we're doing is a full block here, unless he's got a man on. If he's got a man on, he's still gonna pull up.
So backside guards, pin pull.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna pull out. Now if it's fly, right, or rocket, he's going to the corner. If it's jet, we got an extra blocker because our fullback's gonna lead to the corner. So then he's gonna ride the rail and go around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You've done trap blocking, 3 trap at 2,
Right, yeah.
or whatever they do it.
Yeah.
And then the G block, of course, is the front side G scheme. You block down and then you just kick out. I always call it G. Up the place I'm at now, they call it blast, so they see blasted.
The G is that like your? So what plays are offer your G block right now?
Well, we'll run. Right on the screen here. So let's say that he's the wingback's here. He'll run rocket, rocket
That's what I was
motion,
thinking.
reverse. He'll reverse out. He takes a step and goes. So the motion with the back, fullback, because he's a butt sniffer in this case, right? That he's going to step and then go,
Okay.
right? And then when we do the G keep, he's going to reverse out, reach, and then he's going to pull. If he does the G keep, he's going to reverse out, fake, and then follow.
Okay. So that's the B gap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, this is C gap.
Is G something you call, you allow your kids to call ever in certain situations?
No.
Or is that a pre?
It's free call. G, everything's about angles, like different things here. Ryan mentioned centers always have mama, man on, man away. That's why we do the full block here, because it doesn't break his rule. I don't know, I can't say that. Heidi got a perfect on her ACT. But some of the guys that play for me aren't rocket scientists. Okay, so as simple as I can make it, and like I said before, I've had to play freshmen. My first year there, I had 28 kids out, 14 of them were freshmen. Ryan played as an 8th grader, because we don't have the numbers. After we went to the Dome and we won some seasons and stuff, we had to bring a 70 up. Okay, but I've had as few as 31. And so we have different problems than Eden Prairie that takes their All-American tackle, goes down, and they bring in a junior or a senior that's 6'5", 308, replace them with. You know. So, want to get the other one?
Make the whole system just kind of like.
Yes. Did they step on
I
something?
don't know what she did, but.
You want me to try again?
Yeah, there's something.
If you get a flash drive or something.
Yeah, I'll give you my card. I have the PowerPoint on my computer. I can email it to you.
Sounds good.
This done, it's done. Any other questions? I mean, these all got play action passes off them too. At least one, most of them have 2.
Shoot me an email and then I'll email you PowerPoint.
Okay.
What's that?
No, here I got it for you. So.
Yeah, well, appreciate it.